The National Museum of Vietnamese History in Hanoi is laid out like a timeline, guiding visitors step by step through the layers of the country's past. The building itself, constructed in the 1930s during the French colonial period, mixes French-style architecture with Vietnamese decorative elements. Inside, the space is divided chronologically, each section focusing on a specific era or theme. Most of the exhibits are simple: glass display cases, carved wooden frames, and small labels. But what they hold is dense with detail. The first floor focuses on Vietnam's prehistory and early civilizations. Stone tools and pottery show how people lived as far back as 500,000 years ago. Some of the earliest objects are basic: axes, blades, fragments of pots, but they mark the beginning of settled life along the Red River. The Bronze Age section is more sophisticated. The Dongsan culture, around 2,500 years ago, produced large bronze drums that are still some of the most famous artifacts in Vietnamese archaeology. Their surfaces are covered with detailed scenes, boats, birds, warriors, which were cast using advanced metal techniques for the time. These drums weren't just used for music, they played ceremonial roles, and were sometimes buried with the dead, suggesting the person held an important place in society. As you move into the next sections, the museum shifts to Vietnam's early state formations and its long history under Chinese rule. There's a mix of Han-influenced items, ceramics, coins, bronze mirrors, but also pieces that reflect local identity. A recurring theme is resistance and adaptation. The museum highlights the rise of independent dynasties like the Lý and Chan, which ruled after Vietnam broke free from Chinese control. This period is represented by statues of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, royal court objects, and military items. A suit of armor and a selection of weapons are tied to Vietnam's defense against 3 separate Mongol invasions in the 13th century, all of which were defeated, a rare achievement in that era. Upstairs, the exhibits move into the later dynasties, especially then Nguyen, who ruled from the early 1800s until the mid-20th century. There's more color and decoration here: imperial robes, dragon motifs, lacquered furniture, ceremonial tools. It's clear that the Nguyen dynasty placed importance on court rituals and symbolism. But this section also touches on internal weakness and foreign pressure. There are French-language documents and coins, reminders of the growing colonial presence even before formal colonization began. The next galleries cover the French colonial era, the early 20th century uprisings, and the long road to independence. The tone of the displays becomes more direct. There are black and white photos of protests, newspaper clippings, personal letters from revolutionaries, and propaganda posters. Some of the items are worn or rusted: old rifles, canteens, uniforms, but they add a human element to what is often a political story. These exhibits give a sense of how independence was not just a national project, but a personal one for many people. Among the more unusual pieces is a preserved female corpse from over 2,000 years ago, discovered in a burial site in the Red River Delta. The body was wrapped in layers of cloth and a type of natural resin that prevented decomposition. Despite several studies, the method of preservation hasn't been fully explained. The display is quiet, clinical, but it raises unexpected questions about ancient beliefs and knowledge.